we're going to have a record, so you'll be able to watch this workshop later if you want. And probably
My dictation's not working.
Your what's not working?
My dictation.
there is some sound.
How are you today?
You know,
Where are you trying to do dictation at?
not working.
Oh, it'll probably be quiet now. Okay, and Schoology, you're trying to have it read you?
No, how to do dictation is not working.
Where are you doing it? Can you find it?
Yes. So now do you hear me well? I think we can start. Yes, great. I hope you all already had a good day or are going to have a great day. Today's workshop will be dedicated to creating a product design portfolio for junior UX product designers and for beginner designers. Probably you will create your first portfolio or you are going to upgrade your current portfolio. And I'm going to start with introducing myself. My name is Natalia Tryskova. I am a senior product designer in Vivid Money. Vivid Money is a fintech app which combines various types of fintech stuff like daily banking, cashbacks, crypto, investments, credits, and so on. Our users are from different countries, from different European countries, mainly Germany, Spain, France, and many other countries. Previously, I used to work as a lead product designer in Alfa Bank. It's the biggest commercial Russian bank. And as lead product designer, I have an experience of hiring designers and reviewing their portfolios. So I'm going to share my knowledge about portfolios and portfolios tips based on my own experience. And also I got some questions from junior designers within ADP List mentor sessions. And I collected all these questions and tried to create a presentation which will help to answer these questions. Let's begin. And there are some essential parts. The session is recording. It's for you and it's for me, so you can watch it later, and I can also watch it later and understand what was good or what was bad, and to improve it later. And ask questions in chat. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. So be active and ask questions. This one. Let's begin with first part. I called it creating and upgrading your product design portfolio as a product task. I think that it's a very good idea to suggest creating your product portfolio as a regular design product task. When you don't have much product design experience, your portfolio can become one of your cases. And when people who hire designers know that you are a junior designer, they will pay attention to the way you structure information about your work, because they know that you do not have a lot of experience. And this kind of job already shows your mindset. So if you consider your portfolio, creating your portfolio as a product task, the first question you should ask yourself, who will see my portfolio? And there might be various answers depending on company you want to work in and on job positions you are currently applying. For example, HRs can see your portfolio and kind of review it. Design leads, designers, product managers, project managers, maybe developers, and other people. So these specific people will see your portfolio, and these are your users. And as product designer, you want to deliver the best solution to your users. So next question, which you should ask yourself, what is their user story? Because all users, they have their own specific user stories. For example, as HR, I want to understand whether the candidate has enough skills to send their portfolio to design lead. This means that HR manager has some amount of time which he or she will spend reviewing your portfolio, and as a result, they should make a decision whether they will send your portfolio to design lead or whether they will answer you that probably this job is not for you. Second example, as design lead, I want to understand whether candidate has enough skills to solve successfully specific tasks. When design leads are looking for designers, they usually look for designers for specific teams, for specific tasks, and sometimes they don't write about it within job position descriptions, but they keep it in mind. Then, as designer, I want to understand whether candidate will enjoy work with specific team to make work for all of us as a team as comfy as possible. And these are examples of user stories which actually exist in real life when your portfolio reviewers review your portfolio. Next question is, do we really have a lot of time to explore your portfolio? And the quick answer is no. They don't have much time. They will not spend a lot of time deciding whether your portfolio is good or bad. They will spend, for example, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes just to decide whether they want to offer an interview to you or not. Maybe they will need 5 minutes and an HR manager probably will need just 5 minutes to understand whether they will send your portfolio to design lead or not. And this means that creating a clear structure is very important for you. If you have a complicated structure, the managers, the designers, the HRs, they will not understand whether you're good enough or not good enough, whether you suit the position or don't suit the position. And you also have to choose cases which will show you your skills at the best light. So it's very important to decide what exactly you want to show. And usually 2-3 cases are enough. 10 cases might seem too much for a junior designer because people know that you are a junior designer and you don't really have 10 solid cases. So if you show 2 cases, it's nice. Sometimes even if you show 1 great case, it would be good, but the case must be exceptional. So 2-3 cases is perfect amount for you. Choose cases which will help your portfolio reviewers make decision about you. For example, the job position might be about UI designer with UX skills, or it might about UX designer with UI skills. So you have to understand what exactly the job position you are currently applying is about and what people who are hiring are looking for. And you have to decide whether you really want to apply for this position, because sometimes you are too much focused on what company is looking for and not so much focused on the task you really want to solve at your work. So you have to find this balance. You have to understand what this company wants to see. And if they want to see a solid UX experience, or maybe a solid desire for UX experience, you have to maybe focus in your portfolio on UX. And if they want to see some brave and some probably strange concepts with UX, I don't know, research, for example, you have to show them what they want to see. So you have to understand what task do you want to work with and what companies you really want to work with. And your cases, they might suit the job position descriptions. Then, if you have non-design cases, for example, you used to work as a UX researcher or UX copywriter, or maybe you used to work in marketing with other types of researchers, and you think that it might be useful for this job position you are currently applying, you might also add it to your portfolio. It will not be your core case, but you can consider it as an extra superpower case. For example, you used to work as a UX researcher and you used to launch products, and you know how to test products, you know how to check metrics, and it's a very good skill. Actually, when you're looking for a designer, you just dream about a designer who knows how to work with metrics and knows how to work with numbers. So if you have this kind of experience, don't be shy, write about it. Yes, it's not about design, but it's about user experience. And if you want to become a great product designer, you have to understand your user. And when you work as a product designer, you usually work with numbers. You don't always draw layouts, and you don't always work with numbers. You just find the balance. So if you have this relevant experience, don't be shy, add it to your portfolio as a third or fourth case. And after you decide what kind of cases you want to show to your potential employers, create a clear structure for your case description. This is an example of the structure. You can start with the problem description, because a regular product task usually starts with some kind of problem. Sometimes it's about money the company wants to earn, or money the company doesn't want to spend, or it's the user problem, the NPS is low, or maybe users call to support too often and we spend a lot of money on it. So there must be some kind of problem. Sometimes and often you don't know exact numbers and you don't know how to measure the problem. It's not very good, but if you understand what the problem was without numbers, so still write about it in your case description. It's very important to show that you weren't just drawing pictures, but you were solving the problem. Next step is the research. The research stage, it can be very broad. It's not always about an extremely expensive user interviews with different kinds of users and design laboratory. It's great if you have this kind of research experience, but usually you just talk to people, You just talk to your product managers, you talk to your support team, you read reviews in App Store, or you watch some videos, reviews on your product on YouTube, and it's also research. So if you talk to your users, any kind of interaction with your users, it can be offline, online, YouTube store, managers, and so on. This is all about research. If you explore competitors, it's also about research. So if you have done anything like this, just write about it in your case, and it will show the people who look at your portfolio that you are looking not just at Figma while you are working, but you are looking at different fields. So you are curious and you understand that your product doesn't live in vacuum, and it lives with all other products around it. So it will be very good. Then next step is the idea step. And you can show the layout you have drawn, you can show the CGMs you created, user stories, and so on. And then you go to result. It's also a very important part. It's like the problem part. You always start with problem and you always end with result. As a result, you can be successful or not successful. If the problem was we spend too much money because users call too often to our support to solve the problems. And as a result, they begin to call less often. So it is success. And as I've already said, sometimes you don't know exact numbers. So you don't know whether the problem was really solved. But even if you don't know it, I advise you to write about the results you know. It will show the people who review your portfolio that at least you know that the problem must be solved. And the reason why you started working with this task was to solve the problem. And if the result was negative, for example, you have drawn some layouts and some features were implemented, but it didn't help, you can also write about it. And you can write about it to show that you understand that there will be next iteration, because product design is always about iterations. It's an eternal process. You always make something better. You can always do it. Sometimes you stop when you get metrics you wanted, but if you didn't get, it's very probable that you will go on creating new and new iterations. I'm sorry. Sometimes Figma is crazy. The next part, don't copy other interfaces. Get inspired, but don't copy. I see sometimes that junior designers find nice design solutions and copy them within their study cases. And it's a good exercise for you to train your UI skills or UX skills, but it's not a good way to show your skills. Decided, yes, Figma always decides what it wants to do. So sometimes you find good solutions and you copy them, and it's really good for your UI skills. It's really good for your UX skills, and it's really nice. It's very good for you, but don't show it in your portfolio, because experienced designers, they usually know good solutions. So if you copy someone else's solution, experienced design lead will understand that you have copied it. And again, if you have light about something in your portfolio, then lead will understand it. So don't lie and don't copy things, get inspired, and don't underestimate what you have already done. Now we will go to Notion template, and I will show you an example of portfolio. Well, I'll show you my portfolio and how I organized the cases which I had, and I hope that it will help you. First of all, I've created my own portfolio in Notion. Notion is a free tool. This is a Notion website. It is called Notion SO. I'll share the link. You can download it. It's a very useful tool. It's perfect if you want to combine different types of data. You can combine text and videos and pictures and so on. It's absolutely free. You can pay for additional features, but you really don't have to do it if you don't need these features. I'll also share the portfolio with you, so you can check how it looks. And Notion, it's a super easy editor for combining different types of information. I think it's much more comfortable to create your portfolio in Notion than creating your own website, because it doesn't require any additional effort from you. You just put the data you need and get the portfolio. So my portfolio consists of several parts. The title is the name. So when HR sees my portfolio, they see the name immediately. Then the next part is about my work experience. Again, it's more for HR managers, so they understand easily whether I suit their job positions or I don't suit them. Then there are links to my social networks, and there is also a link to my CV. It looks like this. It is just PDF file, which is located on my Google Drive. So I just created this PDF file and it is located there, and I use it. I put it here. So the HR who needs to download CV, sometimes in HR programs, they need to download your CV. So it's very nice to give them access just at first screen of your portfolio. Then there is a gallery view. It is called like this in Notion, with my projects, and a second gallery view with other activities, with public talks, design sprints, and so on. So if you have different types of cases, you can also divide them in several parts. And I will show you this case. It's not a big case, and it's actually an old case. And I weren't very fluent with metrics when I was working with it. And I just started my design career with this case. So I really didn't know much about numbers. But however, I could describe this case in terms of the product design structure. So the first part, it was the problem. And I wrote quite a lot of text about the problem. The main problem of the website was that it was very old, and we wanted to fix some tech problems with the redesign. So it doesn't look like a perfect product task, but it actually was a product task. And if you have tasks like this, when you are not sure that they're perfect and you don't know some metrics and numbers and so on, you still can describe the problem because there was some problem. Then there was the research stage. It was very small. I just compared my interface with other website interfaces with these interfaces, and that was my research. Again, it's not perfect, but well, it was in real life. This is the way I used to work when I just started my career, and I really couldn't do it better at that time. Then there was the step interface. So I described the screens I added, I created, and there were screens for desktop and screens for mobile, and I just showed them, and there is a description why they look like this. Then I created a UI guide, and at the time when I was just starting my career, I really didn't understand the difference between UI guide and design system, and I thought that it was a design system, but it wasn't. It was a UI guide. Now I understand it. But however, I also showed it and described how it worked in terms which I understood. So I showed this type of work and this, and then I also presented layouts for second website I was working on. So it looked like this, and I have a result step here, and that's true because our sales really increased 8 times after we created the redesign, but actually there were some tech improvements and design improvements. So I want to show that sometimes your cases, they're not perfect, but you still can you can find the structure in them, even if you weren't thinking the right product design way while you were working on them, but you can rethink after you finished, and you can remember the details, and you can understand that you actually probably were thinking like a product designer, but you really didn't know it at the moment. So this is an example of an old case. And if you have a better product design experience, you can describe your problems and all the steps more detailed. For example, this is another case. I worked in Alpha Bank at the time. So first of all, I wrote about the company I was working in, because people in other countries, they might not know what Alpha Bank is. So there is a short description of the company. Then the first step is the problem description. And I also described the problem the way I got it when I started doing this task. Then there is the research stage. And there were quite a lot of research types within this specific task, because there was an old interface which I had to improve and to create for mobile app. There was some statistics, there was an online survey, there was a phone interview with users, and there were user stories. And you can try to add things like this to your case. Even if you didn't have phone interviews or online service, you probably have some statistics, you probably have the stage before, and it's a good practice to show what you had at the beginning. And you can always describe the user stories, because they always exist. You don't need to download anything. You just have to remember how you worked within this case, and to remember how the users felt, or probably if you're currently working on some design case, you can sit and try to write at least 3 or probably 5 user stories. Try to do it. You really can do it for any task. Then the next part was interface. This image shows the competitor comparisons. So if you want to add the competitor comparison, you have to add screenshots of the competitors, not just text. Then I described iterations I had, because there were several iterations. There was first iteration, which didn't work there well. There was second iteration. There were more other iterations, a lot of iterations. And then I got final variant. And it's also a very good idea to show iterations you're working on, and to write to describe the details which were changing between these iterations. So you can show first iteration, second iteration. You can add some comments to show that you have changed this thing or that thing and why you have changed them. And it will show people who are looking for a designer that you are very involved in this task. You are thinking about it, and you weren't just creating one variant. You were experimenting. And product design process, it's always about iterations. It's always about experiments. So if you have a lot of iteration, you have to divide them into iteration types and describe how they differ from each other and add it to your case. It's a very good practice. And then I got the final variant, and it worked like this. So there is some description in comments. And the final part is the results part, when I wrote about what we achieved. And within this case, I didn't have much numbers. I think I will text my product manager to ask for numbers, because at the moment we didn't have these numbers. It's worse than if I had the numbers, but still, if you don't have numbers, just write what you know. It shouldn't stop you. It doesn't make your case worse. It doesn't make your work inappropriate. You can add these numbers later, but the idea is adding all information you know. And there is another case. It's much like previous case, but there are more details. So I understood the problem better. And there are a lot of details, a lot of problems, and I wrote down them here. And then there were different types of research. Again, there was the state before. It was our old interface we didn't use anymore. Then there was the feedback part, when we collected user reviews from our support team. Then there was the statistics block, user stories, data and action scheme. So if you have any user flow, you can also add it. But if you add it, you have to describe why you add it. You just can't add a picture of some scheme and write nothing. You have to describe what it shows. And then there is also the interface part with several iterations. I had first iteration, and that then I had testing, and I had to create a second iteration, because tests show that first iteration, well, it wasn't good enough for our users. It didn't solve our problems. So there was second iteration, and there is description of some small UX solutions, which might seem small, because in this case, there's only buttons. but it's not small for users. So if you have such solutions, you can show that before it was like this, after you test it and after you export the task, it changed, and you can describe why it changed, because details are very important. And there are also some sections about details. What's happening here, it's a B2B product, it's complicated, and I had to add quite a lot of comments just to describe to my potential employers what I was actually working on. And there are some, there are some results, and within this task, I knew the metrics. So here are the metrics, and probably it's a very good example of task where you have everything. You have the problem, you have explorations, you have research, you have the metrics, and that's if you have a structure like this, you are really lucky, and it will work well. And finally, I want to say that you can describe any task in terms of the structure. So if we go back to the structure, you can take any of your tasks, any of your probably study cases, or real cases, or natural cases, or the tasks you just created for creating a portfolio. And if you use the structure, problem, research, ideas, result, it will show your mindset. And at the beginning, it's the most important part. Your mindset is your main skill now. So you have to show that you really have a product design mindset. Then next part is about being careful with details. What I mean when I talk about details, be careful with UI. I often see that junior designers who sometimes have UX or maybe another kind of previous experience, they are not so fluent with UI tips, but they want to decorate their portfolios with UI elements, and it doesn't always look really nice. So check spacings, check icons, shadows, corner smoothings, check all these details. If you're not sure about them, for example, if you want to create dribble layouts with colored shadows, with very, very smooth corners, with, I don't know, with colored icons and enormous spacings, you have to be very careful with this, because if you don't do it well, it doesn't look nice. So if you're not sure about your UI skills, just create simple, clean interfaces. It's really better to create a simple white card with normal corner smoothings, with the normal gray shadows, than to create colored cards, which you don't know how to work with. And it's not always about your interfaces inside your cases. It's also about your portfolio decoration details. When you create your portfolio, you don't have to add, for example, here in Notion, you can add anything you like. You can add cover, you can add icons, you can add photos, you can add anything. But if you're not sure about these elements, if they don't help you to show your design skills, just don't add them. It's better to have a clean, well-structured portfolio, white portfolio, with a very simple structure of cases, than to have a portfolio with a kind of not so nice UI. So if you're good at kind of Dribble UI, of course, you can use the skills to impress other people. But if you're not sure, just don't do it. And it will not tell anybody that you are not a good designer. It will tell that, you know, your current limitations. It's okay. And next part, it's about networking. I really advise you being proactive, especially when you start your design path. When you take online and offline courses, it's always about networking. Of course, you have to improve your hard skills when you go to, well, you can improve your hard skills if you join any courses, and that's your main goal. But also you can collaborate with other designers. You can collaborate with your mentors. If you like your mentor's mindset, you should ask questions, and you can collaborate with them. And very often when designers become mentors, and then when they go to some courses as teachers, they're looking for designers for their teams. And when design companies organize meetups, they're usually the main conversion which they check is how many applications they get from designers who visit this meetup for their open job positions. So just keep in mind that designers who mentor you, designers at courses, designs at meetups, are often looking for designers for the teams. And usually meetups are popular among junior and middle designers. So these people are actually looking for you, and don't miss a chance. So add designers whose mindsets you like to Facebook, LinkedIn friends. If you see open job positions, text them in messengers if you follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn. And it's not annoying. It's very good for you because it shows that you are interested in these positions. And if you decide to write to design leads you like, just to find out whether they have some open positions, or to find out whether you can apply for a current open position, just be sure that you describe your experience, and you give link to your portfolio, and you describe why you like the company. And from my point of view, it's a very good practice. So that's the end of the presentation. I think I can show you as a bonus how to create a simple Notion portfolio template. And if you have questions, please write them in the chat, and I'll answer these questions. So I've already talked about Notion as a perfect tool for organizing every type of data, and it's a perfect tool for creating your design portfolio. So how it looks like. If you create a new page in Notion, you just press this plus button, and this page looks like this. So as the main title, you can write your name. It will be like this. Then you can press anywhere, and you can type any text you need. I suggest writing, first of all, your work experience description here. So it will be like, I'm a product designer with 2 years experience. At Vivid Money. Previously, I used to work, and then you list the companies you used to work. After that, if you want to create a template for your cases, you can create it like this. So you press the button plus, and you go to database group and choose gallery view. Then you choose, you don't have to think about it, just choose a new database, and you will get the same structure as I've already shown you within my own portfolio. Works freelance. Yes, I will ask this question just in several minutes. And you get this kind of page. You can create a template for your case description with text you like. There are some default tags. You don't need them. They're called properties, so you don't need them. And you can create your cases like this. So I will delete everything. This is your task name. This is the property. And it can be like this. So you can describe your projects like this, with this tag. And then here you can add any information you like. So you can add the structure. I've talked about the problem, research, ideas, and results. So you have the structure, and then you can add actually anything you like. For example, you can add the cover for your case. And when it uploads, you will see it. And you will have the cover. And you can describe your case in this way. And you can add text about your problems, research, ideas, results, add any kind of media. And this is briefly how Notion works. So I hope that you will try it and you will enjoy it. And I will answer questions. I have a question. Is it better to work as a freelance junior product designer or to work at a specific company? How to find work as a freelancer? I've tried Upwork and Reddit in the last few months, but I had little work overall. There are no UI UX jobs where I'm from. Well, it's I think it's better to work at a specific company because you understand the problems and you understand users, and you can get the results of your work. Usually, if you work as a freelancer, you really don't know how it all ends. You just create solutions, and you usually don't know the results. You usually don't know the metrics, and it's not really good for your product design mindset. So if you have problems with finding a job in a product company, you can try to consider smaller companies. Probably they will not be very famous, and they will not have a great product culture, but you can become the person who creates this product culture. Actually, it was my case, because when I started my career, I started working at a just online shop, and they had no product culture. And I was so enthusiastic that I was creating it, but not so many people were really interested in it. And sometimes, well, I felt depressed about that, but however, it gave me a good work experience. Yes, it wasn't a perfect product company, but when you start your career, you very often don't start it with a great product company. You start it with any company you find. And then you begin creating better and better solutions, and you can apply for better positions. But at the very beginning of your product journey, you usually work with very strange tasks, and that's okay. I think the main idea is to be consistent and to be persistent with your product design mindset. So if other people don't agree with you, and if they're not very interested in this product design thing, you should still be persistent, and you should still create great product solutions with the tools you have. And the company is usually not Netflix, it's not Google, but you still can do it. Even as a freelancer, you can start doing it. And if you have a possibility, if you have an option to apply just for some company which needs an in-house designer, I think you can try do it, and you can try to implement the product culture yourself, not waiting for other people implement it, but to do it yourself. The cases you covered are from real work experience. As a beginner, how do you select projects for your portfolio when you don't really have much work experience? Well, when I was choosing cases for my portfolio, when I didn't have much experience, these are 3 cases. These are 2 freelance cases, and this one is the case from the online shop I used to work at. So this case is quite big, but as you see, it's not the best example of product design work, but that was the case I had. So it wasn't like I had a lot of cases, and which I could describe in terms of product design. I had several cases, and I tried to rethink about them after I quitted the job, and I tried to rethink about them in terms of product design. So, for example, this case, it is freelance case, and there was not so much research in it, because I had to create a new application from scratch. And my only research was just competitors comparison. But even then, I tried to describe it in product design process. So I wanted to say that, yes, I had a task. There was some kind of research. It's not the best research in my life, but it was the only available research for me. And then there was a solution, and I described the way I could do it, all screens which I created. So this is freelance. It is so typical freelance, and I still tried to show it, well, as much product design as I could. So I just when I was choosing these cases, I wanted to show big cases, not just some small details, but I wanted to show that I can do different types of things, that I can create screens, I can create some kind of research, and I can create a UI guide. So I wanted to show that I can do various things. What if metrics only known a few months after an internship had ended? However, ended before the launch of the product, it's totally okay. It doesn't matter when you found out that the metrics are, if you have the metrics, even if you used to work with this project 2 years ago, and only now you ask for the metrics and they're not accurate, but it's still better to show that you know the metrics. And it, even if you ended this internship just a few months ago, it's really not so long ago. So it's not a problem. If you know the metrics now, it's great. You can ask the managers. Yes, and thanks for your questions. So guys, I really hope that you liked it, and I really hope that it was useful for you. If you have any questions, you can text me in ADP list, and I wish you best luck. Yes, thank you. Really, if you have questions, you can always text me at ADP list. And I also want to say that I also used to be a junior designer, and I had so many doubts at the beginning, and I had so many hard feelings, and I had so many problems with creating my portfolio. And actually, I was creating my personal website. I really don't advise you doing it. It's so much time consuming. When you don't have this time, just spend it sleeping or walking or listening to music, but not creating your website if it's too hard for you. So I know how hard it is at the beginning, but I think that the main thing that if you stay persistent, and if you repeat the iterations, and if your every next task is better than previous, you cannot you cannot be unsuccessful, because there are not so many people in this world who are really persistent and who are really consistent. And if you go on creating design solutions, if you go on trying to implement product design culture in the company which doesn't want to do it, it will work. You really will be successful. You don't have a chance not to be successful if you do all these things. So I really wish you best luck. I think this is all. So we're going to end. And have a nice week. Have a nice day or evening or morning. Bye, guys.